Good morning. Whoa, that was just weird. It was just, don't you guys love, you know what I love? It's kind of a love-hate relationship. I love robes. I'm one of those weird people. I do like winter. But when I'm at my house, I love to be in my robe and my sweats and my Ugg boots. And the thing I was noticing the other day is, as much as I love robes, there is not a robe that, maybe I'm crazy, that you do not look fat in. I mean, there's just no way to look slim in a robe. I have this big fluffy blue, can you see it? See the Victoria's Secret? It's sparkly, it says I'm an angel. And then I have a black one from Victoria's Secret, which is really warm and fuzzy. And then I have that one I showed you guys before from that hotel in Seattle that was just wonderful. But I was looking in the mirror the other day and I was tying it. I'm like, okay, look like a cow in that one. Then I tried the other one. I'm like, yes, I look like an igloo in that one. And then all of them. I'm just rambling. But anyway, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? I did not get to, having some hair issues, I did not get to vlog last night. We actually had dinner earlier this year, which was cool. Sorry, I'm just checking. I have a couple of conference calls I have to get to today, believe it or not. I really, you guys, I think that reading that intuitive eating book has really helped me because I don't know why. I remember saying to myself, you know what, I'm going into Thanksgiving and I'm not going to sit there and worry like, oh my gosh, what happens if I have wine? It'll ruin everything. And then, I've destroyed everything for this week and whatever. And I'm just going to have what I'd like and be reasonable about it. And some of you might be watching this going, isn't that how everybody acts? But no, sometimes if you get in these psychotic diet mindsets, and that's my own issue that I'm dealing with this year, is I had gotten to the place where I couldn't just go eat anything. Everything had to be about dieting. Everything had to be about, losing fat and blaming every ounce of food, even water. I was probably like, oh, there's fat in here. That's why. Did you guys take your vitamins today? But anyway, so I just went over to my parents and I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat what I want. And the thing is that the more in my head, I'm just sitting there, I can't talk right now, the more that I think in my head, and it really is kind of a process that I'm having with myself, where I'm like, hello, hello, but without the hand gestures, because that can get you in trouble in public. But the more I'm like, you know what? And my mom had set out like cheese and crackers, and somebody brought something else. Sorry, Roderick. I keep forgetting to turn my phone off, and then Roderick sends me a note on Twitter, and he's like, why don't you turn your phone off when you vlog? I'm like, sorry. So, am I annoying you guys this morning? I'm just like all over the place. But I remember I was sitting there looking, and normally I'd look at cheese and crackers and in my head I'd be going, oh, I can't have that. That's carbs, that's white flour, that's cheese, that's a lot of calories and fat. And instead I just looked at it and I'm like, they're good, but it's nothing that great. I mean, am I that excited about cheese and crackers? No. And so I didn't have any, but I had some of my spiced wine, which was very nice. Okay, so I allowed myself to have wine, and I was way buzzed after a few sips. My mom's like, Kelly, can you watch it? And then for dinner, I had a little bit of stuffing, and nobody made broccoli casserole this year, which I was kind of bummed about. But I had stuffing. I don't even eat meat on Thanksgiving. Isn't that weird? I don't like to eat just plain turkey. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. I don't have an issue with turkey. Just the way it goes. But so I had stuffing, I had some green beans, I had some mashed potatoes, and normal size portions, probably some squash, and I'm trying to think. I really didn't have a lot on my plate, and I ate it, and I was fine. And then we had dessert later, and I had a piece of carrot cake, and it was good. It wasn't fantastic. I was kind of trying to pay attention, like, how does this taste? Is this like amazing? Am I loving it, or is it just good because it's forbidden? It was good, but you know, it wasn't so great that I was like, wow, I can't wait till I have another piece of carrot cake. It's just, I really am starting to see that when you have this mindset, it's kind of like I was telling my mom, the theory of supply and demand. If you're talking about, you know, the stock market or a retail environment or whatever, when when there's low supply and high demand, something increases in value, right? So when you look at that from a dieting perspective, the more that you say, you know, I'm not allowed to have that, I'm not allowed to have that, you want it more. So your, you know, if you will, your demand goes up, and then the value of what you're denying yourself in your mind goes up. So all of a sudden you're looking at something like crackers, like Wheat Thins, and you're saying, I can't have that, I can't have that. And so then you're looking at a box of Wheat Thins like, my God, that is incredible. Look at those. I wish I could have some Wheat Thins. And you make it into this huge, amazing thing when it really isn't. And so then when you do allow yourself to have it, first of all, you could be, and this is not to all of you, but for those of you that have these kind of, you know, issues with food and unhealthy relationships with food, think about this. You know, then you decide you're going to have it, and you're either going to do one of two things. You're going to eat it, you know, you're going to binge and eat it in private because you're ashamed. You're like, you don't want anybody to know that you're cheating on your diet or you're eating carbs or white flour or anything like that. So you eat in private, or you I don't know what the second one was. Some people don't eat in private, or you know they eat you know, way too much, whether it's around people or whether it's in private, but either way, you eat too much and then you have this huge amount of guilt. So then you feel like you have to make up for it. And then again, you're looking at this food as something other than what it is. It's just food. It's not that big of a deal. And I remember I was talking to my mom yesterday and she was saying, we were getting into that discussion where you say, oh, I can't keep that in the house because I can't control myself. Well, you've got to stop. I'm working on also stopping even having that mindset of saying, oh, I can't control myself, because you know what? I can. It's about whether I've really chosen to allow myself to control myself. The more that you say, it's just like we're all talking about having this, you know, positive mindset, saying I can instead of I can't. Don't say, oh, I can't control myself, I can't just have one. Start realizing that it's just food and start looking at food in a different way. And I'm telling you, after reading that intuitive eating book, and I've been going about the past 2 weeks saying, you know what, I'm going to have whatever I want to have. And it is, I'm checking my time here. You know, when I sit and I'm just sitting in my house here and I'm like, okay, I can have whatever I want. What do I want right now? And I start thinking about, you know, anything that's forbidden, you know, like spinach dip or whatever. That used to be something I loved. Spinach dip, and you dip the Hawaiian bread in it. You know why it's exciting? It's exciting, or, you know, thrilling, or it tastes awesome because it's forbidden, because it's such a cheap food. So it becomes this big, huge thing. Is spinach dip really that big of an amazing, incredible culinary experience? I don't think so. Yeah, I like it. But, you know, it's just, if I sit here and think, if there's anything in the world I could have, there really isn't anything that's jumping out in my mind. There's things I will always enjoy. I love going to Olive Garden and getting those breadsticks and dipping them in about a keg of Alfredo sauce. I'm never going to not like that. But, you know, I think the more that you take off these, you know, labels of food being good or bad or cheat or whatever, and just try to incorporate better, healthier food, you know, like getting away from the packaged food and eating when you're hungry. I really like the idea that I'm not trying to force feed myself every 2 or 3 hours. I know that that's what everybody says is great, you know, keeping your body used to having food regularly. I find that I don't really tend to want to eat every 3 hours. And maybe that's for me. Maybe that's what'll work for me. For a lot of other people, it works for them to eat the smaller mini meals. So I'm not going to say it's wrong or right, but there comes a point where you have to listen to your own body and what works for your own body. And if it works for you to eat, I have to start part 2 here in a second. I'm going to move to part 2.